This was quite an impromptu, kind of invitation from Rafa. And for me, it was like I'm addressing a classroom. So it's nothing new that I'm doing, something which I've been doing for almost maybe now 7, 8, 9 years. So hopefully it will not be boring. And at any point of time, if you feel that it is getting boring and it is not connecting with you, you can just cut off yourself from the class. That's okay. It's completely fine. Yeah. So from last few weeks in my classroom, we have had, even in my university, we have had this discussion on how the technology is actually changing our lives. As a teacher, as a professor, we always tend to interact a lot with students who are probably 5, 6 years ahead of the times when we think of, take for example, giving a homework or a coursework. If you give them today, if you give them a regular essay writing kind of a work, it will be done in like this. I'm sure all of you have heard about the recent, it's like changing the way the people have been interacting with the internet itself. Normally what we do, we go to Google search, we type some keywords, and we get our answers, right? You are, for example, you want to search the best English speaking school in Tashkent. And you will get a list of some different types of links, which you further go and click. And then you try to, kind of zero down some 4 or 5 top best schools in Tashkent. And then you start working towards it, and then zero on to one best one, and then maybe for admission of your kid, maybe for working for yourself, whatever it is, it can be. Imagine if this 2, 3 levels of tasks which you were doing in past gets reduced to just one query or one question. What is the best school in Tashkent to learn English? And you get one best response, which is the most correct response, by the way. And your job is done. You don't have to do the extra bit of steps that you normally did. And that's where this particular technology of GPT comes into picture, the chat GPT which talk about. How many of you heard of chat GPT? Okay, not many of you. That's nice to know that I'm sharing some interesting information. By the way, chat GPT is actually revolutionizing the whole the working culture, the teaching culture, the professions, different types of professions. What is it going to do? Is it going to take away your job? Yes and no. So you have to be very, very careful in terms of what currently you're doing, where exactly you're placed, and are you ready to upskill yourself? If yes, good news for you is that your jobs are safe. If no, I'm sorry to say your jobs are gone already, probably. Okay? So, in fact, we have already had one round of discussion. Westminster, for example, is connected with the London Westminster as well. And when we spoke to our London counterpart saying that, look, this is what is happening, what have you been doing on this? It was quite surprising to see that they were still discussing, they don't know what to do about it. And we literally had a long discussions in terms of, we went through each and every module. We actually went ahead and changed a lot of tasks, which can be probably, the idea here is, can you run away from this? Can you say that, okay, we are going to ban this chat GPT and students should not be using it? Can we do this? It's not possible. So instead of running away from the storm and trying to shy away saying that, oh, it's not going to happen, let me just, close my eyes and say that, oh, let it happen. It won't come to Uzbekistan, come on. Right now it's banned in Uzbekistan, but you cannot access ChatGPT, by the way, if you try to access from your Uzbekistan number. But students are smarter, so they find their ways. So what we have done is, we have encouraged them to go ahead and use it. Take the storm as it comes, because you cannot deny. So take the storm as it comes, encourage them to use it, and change your tasks, change your courseworks, which are in line with, it will give you answers through that. Align it with your courseworks and give it to them. And what happened because of this, now they are enjoying the task. They are actually kind of utilizing it. And then they are also in tune with the technology. They got to know something new. They are using it. And it's a win-win for all. The next question that I was asked in a classroom, that, Dr. Kiran, what happens if it takes away your job? Well, it's definitely possible. My job as a teacher is also at risk, because what happens is, what I'm teaching in the class, if it's already done by ChatGPT or any other AI tool, what's my use there? Good question. So what's my use there? My use is to intrigue their mind, to tell them that ChatGPT is still a machine. Okay, it's still a machine. It will still require a human interference to understand it. It can never be something which will probably, until and unless, the question is until and unless you are able to overpower the machine, it will. There was a very interesting question asked on ChatGPT, one of the researchers, that can ChatGPT overpass or surpass the human intelligence? Can anybody guess what the response was from a machine, by the way? You must understand it's a machine talking. So anybody can guess what the response would be? Maybe in a single answer, yes or no?
Yes.
How many say yes? How many say no? The remaining, I assume, no. Or the few say, I don't know, maybe the last option. Okay. The response by the machine was very interesting. Machine said, right now I am not empowered enough to surpass human intelligence, but what my future will be is in the hands of the humans. I am developed by the human, and how I am used, what will be my future, totally depends on what he decides to do with me. Now, this is a response given by a machine. So you can understand the level of intelligence, how it is able to speak, how it is able to interact, and it can have the most beautiful interaction that you can have with any other human being. If you look at the neural network or the back end of how ChatGPT works, it works on neural networks. Those who understand the neural network, you will understand how the neural network works. It's exactly how your brains are connected in your own head, all the neurons in your head. So that's how that also is working. So imagine right now, so there was a very interesting data. It took just 5 days for ChatGPT to reach 100 million subscribers. Just 5 days. Now that's a stat, a known fact, which is the fastest by any community-based service. So that fast is the, acceptance of people on this particular technology, and yes, it is going to change your life forever. Coding, the mundane coding, easily done by ChatGPT. Any regular answers, easily given by the ChatGPT. You have an essay type of questions, given by you ask a political question, it can answer with a very good logical explanation. So like this, there are a number of, write an email, for example, a debate, kind of anything, compare different two economies, easily done. And it hardly takes 5 minutes, not more than that, max to max, and it can talk in any language. It doesn't restrict itself to English alone. You ask it in Russian, it will write in Russian. You ask it in German, it will write in Germany. It will write in Italian, any language it can write in. So the more and more people are going to use it, it's a technology, it's a machine, the better and better it gets at it. Right now, English is very well, it can write poems. It can write love letters for your loved ones. It can write poems for your loved ones. It can write poems on your own self. Okay, you feel so dejected, you're feeling like, oh, today is a bad day. Okay, let me ask ChatGPT, can it praise me? Please, ChatGPT, praise me. It'll write a beautiful English poem to praise you, and you will feel so happy about it. These are all the experiments done already. ChatGPT has already been given an authorship in a research paper, as a confirmed authorship in a published research paper. ChatGPT passed the medical examination with a B grade score, which is very good for a machine to pass. ChatGPT has cleared the Harvard examination, has cleared the MBA medical examination, engineering examination. Very difficult to comprehend whether it is written by a human or a machine. So what's the way forward? How do we take this kind of a monster which is standing right in front of us? How do we take it? Should you run away from it or run towards it? With it, very good. That's the best answer. Run with it. Because there is no shying away. This technology, next 5-6 years, you will see a lot of changes in the how people communicate, how people converse with technology itself. I teach digital marketing at Westminster. And when I teach them the history of how the digital aspect came into picture, go some 15 years, 20 years back when you started using Google search. Right? You were just typing some random texts and it was giving you some random responses. It got better over a period of time. The algorithm improved and everything improved. Today, Google is a giant purely because people use it, maximum number of people use it. You know, you no longer say that let me go and search something on internet. You go and say, let me Google it on internet. So you have made it like an adverb for itself. It's like a, it's activity being processed. So that's the power that Google holds. And that's why Google got worried. And within 2 days, it launched its own AI tool to give competition to ChatGPT, which is called as Bard. Unfortunately, the very first question that was asked to the Bard was answered incorrectly, and Google lost $100 million just in one question, because of one question. So whatever the image that was built over a period of time, today Bard doesn't hold the same kind of authenticity as ChatGPT has. So people are now questioning Google. Did you do it correctly? Was it the right approach to just get scared and do something? You are a biggest company. So if Google can get scared, being a biggest company, who are we? Okay? So, but there are again few interesting things which ChatGPT still cannot do. Mathematics, still not so good. Logical reasoning, not so good. The answers that it gives still have to be rechecked by a human interference. You need to still check whether there is a logical sequencing in what it's answering. You can train it to give wrong answers. There have been experiments done to train it to give a wrong answer, and it accepted the answer because it's still learning. Maybe next time when you ask, it would have been learnt by then and it will go ahead and correct itself. But right now it's learning. So we can decide the future of how ChatGPT will be or how the technology will be. Now ChatGPT is owned or powered by Microsoft, and it's actually been made by OpenAI. It's a third-party tool. But what's happening is like this, there are so many other tools now available in market. You want to create a video, you have an AI tool. You want to create a text, image, you have a tool. You think an image and you can create an image. For that you have an AI tool. You don't have to depend on anything. You just type the context. I want a Santa Claus sitting on an elephant. You have an image for that because AI will create that image for you. Santa sitting on an elephant. And the image is right in front of you. So job is going to get easier. Job is going to get more challenging. So if people are ready to make themselves, upskill themselves, definitely there is a scope. Those who are not willing to will just die out. When the computers came in, when the calculators came in, the similar situation was there. A lot of people lost their jobs. But a lot of new jobs were also created. And that's where we are right now. Fortunately or unfortunately, the changes took some time there to happen. Now it's happening extremely fast. So we as humans, we need not worry, but we should be up for the challenge. And that's what I feel we should be doing in terms of going ahead along with the technology. Walking with it hand in hand instead of running away from it. I think that's the best way forward for all of us. I would like to end this topic with the last and final question. As long as you are ready, when I say you as humans, we as humans, we are ready to ask questions, the technology will be slave to us. The day we stop asking questions to the technology, we become slave to that. So let's not stop asking questions. Let's continue asking more and more questions, because this is the technology is only working only purely because you have something to ask. It is giving answers based on that. If you have nothing to ask, imagine this starts asking questions back to you. So then it will become a problem. So on this note, I can stop the discussion. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.